Game Doc.
Hey everybody, this is Kodak here. Welcome back to Game Doc and welcome back to Magi-Nation. In the last episode, I sucked hard at a boss fight, but managed to win by abusing healing items. I am pretty badly underleveled right now, it turns out. We'll see what happens. Oh, there's some weird stuff on the ground. Ah, there's some more rocks. Oh, what have we here? That's funny. What are these? Tony got crystal blades. I wonder who I'm supposed to take these to. Those seem like they'd be useful for something, so I'm seriously underleveled right now, so I fear I'm gonna have to do that most dreaded of activities, grinding. Yeah, Togoth from the beginning was supposed to be a complete joke. He wasn't supposed to be as hard as he was, but the thing is, I am really underleveled because I want to get through this game and show you all the cool stuff that happens in it, so I can't really spend a lot of time grinding and leveling up, but because, you know, it's the most boring thing to do. It's boring to do, it's even more boring to watch. Actually, I think I'm going to save the grinding for later in the game, because for now, I believe I need to take these crystal blades to Gia, if I remember correctly. I think she does something useful with them, and with the first part of the, I have to run through the forest again, although now that I've actually been through the forest and explored it once, I can just take a shorter route to get there. But now that I have a better grasp on the forest, I should be able to go through. But hopefully we'll be able to get to a new area today. That would be wonderful, and I know there's going to be a lot of grinding going on, but oh, who we got? Oh, he's attacking me. I wonder, I have a few ideas of what I'm gonna do while that's happening. Maybe I'll talk about the actual original card game, because Magi-Nation, when it first came out, was aiming to be a big multimedia franchise, and as you can see here, it did eventually get a video game to go along with the card game. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Lightseekers today, along with a few other elements in there. It didn't get the TV show. It did eventually get a TV show, an awful TV show made by this company called Cookie Jar, although you might know them better as Beak. Yeah, they attempted to rebrand themselves into a new company called Cookie Jar, but the Magi-Nation cartoon that was made was a huge mess. It actually kind of looks a bit more like Redakai. You look at some of the characters that they had oh, is that Pode? Oh no, that's Wentz. Okay, must be getting rusty. My name is Wentz. Okay, there we go. Hey Wentz, I'm Tony. Well, Tony, it seems I owe you a debt. I live near here, so you can come around to my place anytime you need a rest. Don't worry if I'm not home. Feel free to go there anytime. Thanks. See you around, Tony. Well, that was an abrupt stop to the music. Okay, so, but yeah, I only watched a few of the episodes before I was completely disgusted by it, because it is an incredibly, it's like a demeaning series. It's actually really bad. It makes like Sesame Street level puzzles, and you know, I'd expect a little bit more from a kids show than those kinds of puzzles. I mean, I guess there's a point where you have to, you know, there's a point where you have to say, well, it is for kids, so maybe something that complex and convoluted isn't the best idea. I don't remember Magi-Nation getting a lot of traction on the TV show, though, because here's the thing. Along with the TV show, there was talk about reviving the card game, and that never happened. At least I never saw it happen, so that tells me that maybe the TV show didn't quite get the traction it needed. It's a real shame. I actually went and looked at some more stuff. It turns out that Interactive Imagination put out 13 regions for the card game. You have Narum, Underneath, Called, Oroth, Ardariel, Core, Weave, Kaibar's Teeth, the Ice of Nar, the Sands of Dresh, Peridwin, and Bograth, and Universal. So Tony's considered a universal one. If I count the universal region, that's 13. And it is possible to cross-class decks for regions, but the thing is, if you play if you attempt to play a creature of a region other than one you come from, then you actually have to take a penalty and pay an additional energy just to do that. Of course, any region can play universal cards, but Universal Magi cannot play, every single card for free. They actually have to pay the regional penalty to pay something that is not a universal creature. So Universal Magi are actually kind of pretty badly restricted. Okay, so Gia here just told Tony to put the stone into the core glyph. We'll take a look at it in a second, but there are 3 more slots. Where do I get the other 3 stones? Perhaps now that I know what we are looking for, I can try to locate them. No good. Something is preventing me from seeing it clearly. All I sense is that they are all concentrated in one area, yet always moving. This can only mean one thing. Somebody is holding them. No doubt it is the same person who used this stone to form the geyser in the room. Did you notice any suspicious characters around the geyser? Well, I noticed there were a bunch. Actually, I did notice someone, but he went too fast for me to see clearly. Did you see where he went? He went into a cave. I tried to follow him, but he disappeared. I did find these crystal blades, though. Let me have a look. Those look like the kind of blades used by miners in the underneath. He must have taken an old mine shaft. Aiden can fit those blades into digging gloves for you. Thanks for your help. Good luck, Kyros. Is he a Kyros or is he a Euros? Is he a sandwich? Oh, there he is. Hello, Julius wannabe. You need some crystal gloves? I can make you appear in hardly no time at all. Here you go. There we go. So this is the second relic. This allows us to dig through that gravel that we saw before. So we're gonna march into the mouth of the beast, and we're gonna grind like crazy all the way through the cave to try to get there. I'm sorry, you guys. So, like I said, the original game that came out, it was lauded for the fact that it did not require resource cards. It instead you summoned monsters using what were essentially your life points. It was called energy in this case, Dream Energy. And what you did was you had some starting life points, but you actually would gain life points every turn in a step that is called Energize. So you basically you pay with your life points, but those life points are on a slow regen. So it is actually, oh, that one's actually pretty good. I don't know why they call it Tusk Wisp. I think it's actually called something else in the card game. Yeah, you gain a little energy each turn, Energize, which allows you to summon the monsters, and the monsters basically take your Dream Energy and make it their own, which becomes their attack and defense powers. And when the monsters fight, it's like Hearthstone, and it's like Hearthstone. In that they exchange damage. Although in the case of Magi-Nation, the current energy is the attack and defense, and that actually is it's not as inefficient as it sounds, as there are a lot of creatures that have an ability that's depending on getting attacked or defending, where they actually increase their energy total when that happens. Every single monster, every single creature in the card game has some kind of special ability. There is no such thing as a vanilla dream creature in the card game, and there is exactly one vanilla Magi, and that is sort of her shtick. Her name is Quila, and in exchange for that, she's an Erothian. She's a water mermaid. So what she gets is she doesn't have an ability, but she instead gains the ability to... every Magi actually has a starting hand. You get a stack of 3 Magi, and when a Magi gets flipped face up, you get to look through your deck for their starting cards. You get to pull those cards from the deck, 1 copy of each of them. Basically, they get added to your starting hand. It's a really nice way to start. You have a very strong opening because you have your full energy. If you go second, you even get to Energize for the first time. So there's a lot of fun going on in that part of the game. I got Busy Walk. Leaf Choker's now level 10. Okay, yeah, I want to try to get these guys at least to, like, level 15 before I really start going. But, like I said, I'll be able to talk about something I like while we go there. But she gets to pick Quila, going back to Quila, she actually, in exchange for having an ability, she gets to pick 2 Erothian relics at the start of the game. Any 2. Normally you have, like, a strict list of cards that you can use, but Quila can grab any 2 Erothian relics, and since Oroth is the group that uses relics the most, that's really strong. And she also has an Energize rate of 7, and your average Energize rate is 5. A lot of creatures tend to be 5 energy, things like that. Your average energize rate is 5, 4 is bad, 6 is pretty good, 7 is amazing. So having an energize of 7 is very, very good. It's rare to see anything higher than 7. Like, you have to get into Gnar territory to get anything higher than 7, and the whole idea behind Gnar is that they have very low starting energy, but very high energize, so they have a weak starting hand, but a lot of sustain. So that's what she gets in exchange for having no ability. She gets a very high energize rate. Like I said, 5 is average. 6 became the average as power creep went into effect, but as it kept going, there were of course we have the starting region. It had the 4 core elements plus nature. We had water, wind, earth, fire, and wood, you know, our basic elements, and a lot of each of them had like a really killer app character, especially Oroth and Narum. Oroth got Aqua, who had Aqua, which is not useless goddess Aqua, but actually spelled O''Qua, which is, believe it or not, I think the name of a kind of melon, which is kind of weird. It wasn't intentional. It was entirely meant to be a pun, but her ability was once per turn, she could pull any monster she wanted from the deck. And there was a monster that lets you shuffle your Magi back into the Magi deck and summon a new Magi out. So if you use Aqua on your first turn, she would play a bunch of stuff with the energy she has, and then summons the monster, the giant Parathin, to switch out for another Magi, essentially giving them a bunch of free stuff at the very beginning. That's like, in exchange for that, Aqua has really low stats. She has 11 starting health and an energize of 4, which is bad, as I emphasized before. But she was extremely powerful solely because of her ability to summon, and really the only way you could stop Aqua was with a Magi called Soraya. Soraya basically turned all current Magi in play into vanilla Magi. But like I keep saying, that actually does not apply to creatures. Every creature has an ability, because otherwise there would be nothing unique about them at all. I mean, there are certainly categories of creatures, like there is more than one kind of Chogo. There's more than one kind of Weebo. There's actually a pretty big. There are actually a bunch of interesting monster types, but for the purposes of the game. And there's also dragons. They're dragons. In this game, they're called Hyrens, and they are the most powerful monsters in the game. They're also the hardest to find and the hardest to obtain, because you have to fight some extremely high-level monsters in order to get their Animite to even have a chance at dropping. We're gonna go for Hyrens at some point, and at that point, I won't have to grind ever again once I get that, because their starting level is high enough that I won't really need to. So, alright, so we're just gonna finish off this Brub here. We haven't really encountered anything particularly interesting or new. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to encounter some Korits or something like that. And until next time, this is GameDoc signing off.